I waited up until the clock read to 13 a.m. Her seat on the couch empty. The dog pacing in circles. The apartment the quiet kind that makes every small sound loud. My phone finally lit up. Don't worry about me. One line, casual, like nothing. I stared at it and felt a drop in my chest. We had a life. Mortgage payments. Our weekday coffee ritual. Her laugh that used to fill this room. That text should have been normal. Instead, it hung wrong, like a missing piece. What I didn't know then would ruin us. Later, I found something the text couldn't explain. And when I acted, walking away didn't feel like losing. It felt like winning. I met her at a mutual friend's cookout 12 years ago. She was laughing at a joke I didn't even remember making. And I thought, right then, that laugh would be my anchor. We built ordinary things that felt enormous. A cramped first apartment stacked with boxes, lazy Sunday coffee routines, weekend hikes that became annual trips. A dog, and finally a mortgage we signed. When my job demanded late nights, she covered the small stuff at home. When I took extra shifts, she stayed up with coffee and a book. I postponed a transfer because we wanted to stay, okay? To everyone else, we were steady, the kind of couple people said had it figured out. Privately, there were tiny tensions I smoothed over. Her silences after work, a phone kept face down on the table, the excuse of an extra meeting. They felt like noise, not red flags. I was blind. I trusted her without proof because trust was how our life worked. Losing that trust, not just a person but the shared life we'd constructed, is why the night she didn't come home hurt like it did. Those small things I'd tolerated would soon stop being tolerable. I started noticing the shift in small moments. Her phone, once unlocked on the counter, suddenly had a new password. Work calls dragged on, but whenever I walked into the room, they ended instantly, followed by that hollow laugh she used when she didn't want questions. She began texting late at night, the screen lighting her face as she angled it away, sliding the phone face down whenever I glanced over. Weekends that used to be hours turned into vague work trips, always last minute. When I asked simple things, what time she'd be home, who she was meeting, her tone sharpened, accusing me of prying. I'm not a controlling man, so I forced myself to rationalize it, telling myself she was stressed, that marriages had seasons. Still, the distance grew. Colder hugs, distracted talks, a softness in her voice saved for someone else. The final hint came one Thursday night when she returned from getting something from the car 15 minutes later, carrying a faint trace of unfamiliar cologne. I didn't confront her, but that scent told me something was breaking inside me. I came home early one evening to an empty house, the kind of empty that feels intentional. Her purse was gone, but her perfume lingered on the pillow, sharp and out of place. On the kitchen counter sat a charger I didn't recognize, and beside it, a lip gloss she never wore. I told myself not to jump to conclusions until her tablet lit up with a preview of a message, same time tomorrow. The words hit harder than I expected. I sat down, letting the silence settle around me, heavy and cold. When she finally walked in an hour later, I asked where she'd been. She flinched, then forced a laugh, brushing past me with a shrug. When I mentioned the message, the gloss, the charger, she shifted into irritation, accusing me of snooping, overreacting, imagining things. Her voice rose. Mine didn't. I kept it steady, watching her avoid my eyes, every excuse confirming what she refused to say. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just nodded slowly, letting her believe I'd dropped it. But inside, something had changed. That was the moment I decided the truth would come out quietly on my terms, and without any warning from her. I shifted from hurt to calculation almost overnight. Instead of confronting her again, I stepped back and began gathering proof. Call logs showed late-night numbers she never mentioned. Receipts revealed restaurants nowhere near her office. Her social posts, harmless on the surface, pointed to locations that didn't match where she claimed to be. The real break came from our car's GPS history, a breadcrumb trail leading to the same address 3 times in 1 week. Then a short video clip from a neighbor's security camera confirmed who she was meeting. The man was someone I recognized, a married coworker who'd once shaken my hand and called me dependable. That detail didn't just hurt, it clarified everything. So I planned. I moved money into separate accounts, documented every inconsistency, and made quiet copies of everything she might try to delete. I contacted an attorney, prepared a rental option, and waited for the perfect moment. I couldn't say anything yet because when I finally did, everything would break exactly the way it needed to. I wanted consequences, not chaos. And the more evidence I gathered, the clearer it became that she had no idea how close her world was to collapsing very soon. I chose a quiet Friday dinner for the reveal. She came in smiling, that practiced, dismissive smile she used whenever she thought she had the upper hand. I waited until she sat, then slid my laptop toward her. The message thread opened automatically, followed by the GPS logs and the video clip. Her smile collapsed in seconds. Her hands shook as she tried to close the screen, muttering excuses that tripped over each other. I didn't raise my voice. I simply told her I'd already spoken to his wife and that both marriages were no longer her secret to manage. The color drained from her face. She begged, then blamed, then tried bargaining, but each attempt fell flat against the evidence between us. By morning, the other spouse had confronted her lover. My accounts were separated, and her friends, those who believed her stories about me, went quiet. I felt no satisfaction in watching her unravel, only a steady calm. She finally understood the truth she'd avoided. Everything she thought she controlled was gone. And I wasn't fighting for us anymore today. I moved into a smaller, quieter place, where the silence felt like peace instead of warning signs. I started sleeping through the night again, waking without the weight of suspicion on my chest. Little rituals came back: morning walks with the dog, real meals, evenings where my mind wasn't running circles. I learned that trust isn't owed, and a calm man with the truth is far more powerful than someone who shouts. Letting go wasn't losing. It was reclaiming the parts of myself I had set aside to keep a broken marriage alive. I didn't need to break high, needed to find myself again. And for the first time in a long time, I finally did. That peace was worth everything.